Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? Not a bad day yesterday. Saturday, we're recovering from the Georgia, but the fourth lock yesterday did win San Diego. So the locks were Iowa, which won, in San Diego, which I loved. And then we had the TCU over and we lost with Georgia. That'll teach me to not play Georgia under, right? And this is where we learn, right? We got to figure out. We're still figuring out the teams, right? So this is what we're trying. This is why in the beginning it's a little bit more difficult. I can't get a gold price. Well, the gold futures is 2606. It was down $3 today. Previous close was 2610. That's the futures. The spot I'm trying to get, but sometimes this gold price doesn't, it's like the site doesn't work or something. So anyway, there's nothing I can do with that. All right, so what should we do first? So let's go through the pros yesterday, and then we'll go through college. Pros, big day for me. So we start off losing over 42 to 41 by Buffalo, Miami. Buffalo kills him. Tagliavua looks like he gets hurt on purpose. Hard to say. He runs right into the guy. But anyway, he sucks anyway. He's out for a while, I guess. New Orleans, Dallas. New Orleans 44-19. I played New Orleans in 12.5. I hemmed and hawed about it. And I said, well, we know Prescott, his 2 interceptions, and we know New Orleans looks very explosive. So here's what we learned that we can't use last year. New Orleans wasn't a high-scoring team. All of a sudden, I don't know what they did. They added that other receiver, Shakir or something like that, Rasheem. And he's going long. He caught 2 long touchdowns yesterday, but 44-19 to Micah Parsons, you don't see too often. So that helps us there. New Orleans and Tampa are very live dogs here. So I have 12.5. I said, well, if I lose with it, I lose with it, but I got to take New Orleans in 12. So that's a winner. I lose the over in the Detroit-Tampa game. Tampa wins 20-16. So this is the second week in a row Detroit doesn't have an offense. They got 20 on the Rams, and then in overtime got the touchdown. And then yesterday they lose 20-16. I was expecting more. So Tampa looks really good. Their defense, even with all Winfield was out and half their secondary. That's why in the pros it's hard to look at the injuries because the guys behind them are pros. So it's not like college where the guys are freshmen. So 2016 Tampa, I was impressed with Baker. Was running and good passes. And again, they gave up 117 yards to what's the receiver? It wasn't Evans. It was the other guy, which I am drawing a blank right now. But there you go. Detroit's pass secondary, again, sucks. That one number 0 keeps getting pass interference. I would just throw the ball to him and he doesn't know how to play defense. Oh, yeah, he's from Alabama. They don't teach pass coverage at Alabama. Anyway, so 20-16. So now we got to reevaluate the Lions. They're not. I see teams blitzing Goff more, and he doesn't like it. Here comes choke Goff, right? Threw about 2 interceptions. They're getting used to St. Cloud and this Jameis Willis guy. And, it was strong defense from Tampa. So Tampa's going to be a live dog. Detroit, I don't know. They got problems. Who do they got this week? I haven't done week 3 yet. Well, I know I did Thursday. I saw was the New England goes to the Jets. We'll talk about them in a minute. So, again, I'm playing Detroit over based on last year. And this is where this is where everybody gets in problems because you think, well, they'll still be an over team. They'll still score a lot. And they're not. They're struggling. A lot of field goals. They're pressuring Goff, which I don't know why they weren't the whole time. You knew he can't handle pressure. But I think it's because they played such an easy schedule the last year. Because when you did play Baltimore or you did play Green Bay and Chicago and they lost, they pressured them. So all you got to do is pressure him. It's the same as Lamar. It's the same as all these guys. Just pressure them and, they're dead. Indy, Green Bay, shocking score. But I knew not to play Indy. I didn't know what to do because Willis, he had a decent game. He ran a lot. They ran a lot with Green Bay. And give the credit to the coach. Hank Stram did this once. I was watching this Raider Chief thing where the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl, 69. And there's all this Raider. And there was one game Len Dawson couldn't play, and so he had no quarterback. They ran the ball like 65 times, and they threw 6 passes in the game. Hank Stram was smart enough to know, well, my strength's my running game. I don't have a quarterback. I'm going to run the ball. And they won the game. And he ran it like 60 times. So I give that credit to the guy obviously watching Hank Stram. They ran the ball a lot down Indy's throat. Indy's not a good run defense. They're not a good defense. And then they held Richardson to 2 picks. The defense is looking good for Green Bay. So it's hard because you see the Philly game, but a lot of people were slipping, and it was in Brazil. And now here it's much better. So good win for Green Bay. This is why you can't play you don't know what Willis is going to do. You got to watch and learn and get the data on him. Next game, the JETS's 24, Tennessee 17. I play the under 41 in the game, and almost it should have been an easy winner, almost wasn't. Again, a block punt on Tennessee. Rodgers looked much better. As I said, I had the Jet circled and I had the under circled. I had the score 27-17, the JETS's. They won 24-17. And basically, Rodgers looked very good. Played the whole game. I was surprised, happy. So they looked better. Now they got the win. Now they're happy. Now here we go with Aaron Rodgers. And I said, him and Burrow are not going to go easy. And Burrow played a hell of a game also. Very disappointing loss there. But when these good quarterbacks have a bad day, look out. And that happened to Stafford yesterday, so look out for him. So the JETS's get a win. I have the game under, another winner. San Fran, Minnesota. I have San Fran minus 4.5. I probably had a minus 5.5. I'm way off here. I mean, I have Frisco winning easy, 31-3, because they ran all over the Jets, right? They lose 23-17. Purdy threw like 3 picks. I thought the game was lost in the first quarter, in the first 10 minutes, when Frisco's get the ball first and goal at the 5 and don't get anything. And what shocks me is let's pass on 4th and 1 at the 1. Let's pass. What the fuck? If you can't run it in, you got to kick the field goal. You got to tie the game. You lost momentum. And then the game was over the next play. He hits Jefferson on a 97-yard touchdown. Game over at 10-0 in first quarter. That's the problem with not making it. And, we'll give him a long field. Yeah, that'll take him one play to get the touchdown. What kind of logic is that? Why didn't you just run it in? If it's 4th and 1, run the ball. You have good running. Well, they didn't have McCaffrey, but the other guy was running fine. That's the problem with this 4th down bullshit. And let's go back to the Lion game. Lions easily could have won. They had the ball at the 10-yard line with about a minute left, kick the field goal. No, they go for it on 4th and 8, and they get 5. Why are you throwing for 5 yards? So they don't get it. They hold them, call their timeouts. The other team punts, Tampa. They drive back down to the 20. So you could have kicked your field goal with a minute left and gone down 2019. And then at the end, you held them anyway. You could have then kicked the field goal to win 22-20. Again, the idiot coach going for 4th down. Another fake punt, another go for 4th down earlier in the game that did work. But what the fuck's wrong with this guy? The problem with it is it shows that you're not very good if you have to rely on trick plays, fake punts, go for it on 4th down, 5 times? What is that? This is the problem with the NFL now. You can't, these go for it on 4th downs. The consequences of failure are crucial. It costs them the game. Kick your field goals. Even in the first half, I think they went for it, didn't make it. So they left about 10 points on the table, and they lose by 4 because the idiot coach will not kick field goals. What's he thinking? We're going to make the 4th down. Okay, they made it at their own 40, which was incredibly stupid. And then in field goal range, kick your field goals. It's not like you have this great play caller that you're going to get first downs on it. It's 4th down. You're playing Tampa, who's playing very well defensively. You have to understand the game you're in and who you're playing. So again, terrible coaching. He's costing them a lot of games, cost them a Super Bowl, cost them this game. This coach has to go. I'm sorry. He gets the players motivated. But look at Tampa. Tampa said, they want to play bully ball. We'll play bully ball. So now we understand the Lions are trying to play bully ball. And it's like a guy who bets at poker and he bluffs. And even if he raises, you don't like to be re-raised. If I bet $50 on you, and I might have a hand, I might have a decent hand, I might have a great hand, probably have a decent hand, right? I'm trying to get you out. You then come back over the top and re-raise me $100. I don't like that. Now I'm thinking, I'm fucked and I got to fold. And that's the problem. So when you get these bullies, what did Tampa do? They bullied them right back. As soon as Tampa took a 6-0 lead, I said, that's it. They're going to win the game. And I was happy they won the game. Just shut up all these Detroit guys. Excuse me. These Detroit fans are just, we're going to the Super Bowl. Like, dude, you're not going to win your division. Good luck beating Minnesota. Darnold looked good, and Love will be back. Caleb, they're gonna lose a lot of games with Caleb. I love how the announcers keep calling how good Caleb is. I'm like, yeah. Oh, he did get over 100 yards yesterday. All right, so Frisco Mini 23-17, but that's my point on the 4th downs. If he kicks the field goal, then it's 16. They win 20-16 because they kick the field goal, and then that means they don't have a 97-yard touchdown to Jefferson, who did get hurt. I don't know. Is he out for the year? I'm sad for that. Darnold looks like a whole different quarterback. It's funny, when you go on certain teams and you look bad, you assume, they're going to look bad. And now he looks good. Now I can bet on Minnesota. He looks fine. He's running a little bit, throwing. You just beat a good Niner team who looked terrible. Purdy looked really bad, a lot of interceptions, but this is the problem. Don't fuck with home dogs, right? Seattle, 23-20 in overtime, -3. I circle them, but don't play them because of the Cincinnati-New England game. Cincinnati has to go to overtime. I haven't watched that one yet, 23-20. Washington, -1.5, wins 21-18. How bad are the Giants? Another under game I like, but I don't play it. If you only score 18 points on Washington, Tampa lit them up, right? So if you only get You only get 18 points on Washington. How bad are you, right? So give Jalen Daniels credit, 21-18. So the Giants are the worst team in the league. Well, Carolina is, of course. And here we go. Big lock, San Diego, Carolina. Huge lock with Iowa. Iowa we snuck in with. I don't really know how Troy scored so many points on Iowa. It's amazing. See, this is the problem. They let up in the fourth quarter, or because they've won the game, and then you get killed at the end there, like the Michigan game. So San Diego, I have big lock. I know Bosa and Khalil Mack are going to be all over this guy. I don't think he got 100 yards, Steve Young, and I don't know why the betting's going on him. They start at like 6 and it goes down to like 4. Who the fuck's betting on Carolina and why? Oh, all of a sudden Bryce Young's going to be good? He sucks. That's it, period. He sucks. He's as bad as Fields, okay? Just keep that in mind. This is not Alabama playing New Mexico State. This is big boys. So San Diego kills them 26-3. I got the game even, and I'm loving it. And I go, that's the way the lock should work. Oh, my God. So very happy. San Diego, it's going to be tough. The strong defense, a lot of unders. They played under last week. I had them circled under, but I love the point spread. My score, 24-0. I had them as a 6-point favorite, and they ended up being a 5 and wins 26-3. Pretty fucking good. Jacksonville, Cleveland. I have Jacksonville winning 20-10. How Cleveland won 18-13. It just shows you how bad Trevor Lawrence is. Watson and Lawrence. I haven't looked at the box score of this one. I really don't have any. I will. I'll pull the stats today. I pulled all my college stats yesterday. That's what I do watching the games. We'll get to college in a minute. So now after 2 weeks, the first week's hard to really take seriously because they haven't played training camp. Now they've got 2 weeks under their belt. Now I think the real season starts. Joe Burrow looked much better with Chase. Aaron Rodgers looked better, not great, but he still looked better. He got a W at Tennessee. They get New England. That should be another W. So I don't know what happened in this game. Cleveland 18-13. I circle under 41.5 because Watson and Lawrence suck, and therefore, where are they going to get points? See, that's my logic. If you got bad quarterbacks, where are you going to get the points? So in Washington and the Giants, I circled the under because it's Jones and Daniels. You only got 39 points. Then I look at San Diego. It's Herbert against Young. I'm all over Herbert. Young doesn't do shit. Here's Watson, who sucks, against Lawrence, who sucks. See, you've got to come to the realization and not listen to the hype. Oh, Fields is this, and Prime Junior's that, and Caleb's this and that. You've got to watch it in a blind. Just watch it and just see the quarterback for what they are. These quarterbacks that run are a big problem. Lamar, as we'll get to, because they can't complete passes. Again, Lamar blows a 10-point lead. What the fuck is with him? But the point is, Lamar's the greatest quarterback, that MVP. He sucks. There's another case. How do you lose a 10-point lead to Oakland in the fourth quarter? He's not a good quarterback. And I don't know when Harbaugh's going to realize he's not a good quarterback. So anyway, this is what you have. So you've got to realize Lawrence isn't any good, and Tagovailoa is not very good, and Fields. These are beautiful under bets because they're not going to score touchdowns. I'll get to the Pitt game in a minute. So let's go Oakland, Baltimore. I have Baltimore winning 27-17 with the 7-point spread. They end up being an 8.5-point spread. And Oakland wins 26-23. Where does Oakland get 26? Minshew looked pretty fucking good, actually. Again, he was great at Washington State. And then he goes to Jacksonville. He's okay. He played well at another team. So he's not that bad. But then watching the highlights, there's Devontae Adams, there's Brock Bowers, there's the guy out of Notre Dame. And you're going, fuck, Brock Bowers caught 9 for 100 yards. Adams had, I think, 9 for 120. So all of a sudden you're like, yeah, they got an offense to go with that killer defense. Oakland's a pretty fucking good team. So Baltimore, you thought would win because they lost to KC, right? They played bad. The problem is Lamar. What did he throw? 3 interceptions, got sacked a bunch of times. And when they needed him with the 10-point lead, 23-13, where was he? Doesn't show up. They kick a field goal. It's 2016. Okay, we need to answer 3 and out. And then at the end, touchdown ties it 23-all, 3 and out. And then Oakland wins at the end. So Minshew is a much better quarterback than Lamar. That's the problem with Lamar. When he has to, and the game gets tight, he has to drive, and he has to get first downs, and he has to get a field goal to clinch it. He's gone. He doesn't show up. He's good in a wide open, let's run. But everybody's catching on. No, we pressure him and we make him throw, keep him in the pocket, and the guy has no idea what he's doing. This is why I'm so negative, Lamar. That's a perfect example, and I know he's fucked up a bunch of other games, and I really don't like betting him. I thought the way they looked against KC with that killer defense, they would be fine. To Oakland with a good defense and no offense. And I'm embarrassed that I went against Brock Bowers. That'll teach me to go against Georgia. Can't do that. This guy's great tight end, and I'm fucking betting against him. That's wrong. It's a 49. Over under was 41 and a half. This is where now you learn Minshew. See, now we got him. He's new. Brock Bowers is new. Oh, look at him. Yeah, they can play. I'm taking Oakland a lot more. They should have won. San Diego got a late touchdown on them, but I did win that under. And now I know Baltimore's got a good defense, so it's not that. The Rams in Arizona, Pukanuka's out. Fucking Kyler Murray ran all over the place on them. 41-10, but the professor's smart enough. I played over 47 down to 41. And they score 51. I had it won early in the fourth, I think. And it was like 34-3 at halftime or something like that. So anyway, so 41-10. But I played it properly. Arizona is an over team. They score a lot. They scored on Buffalo 28, but they have no defense. And the Rams to only get 10. I don't know what happened to Stafford. I'll have to watch the replay there. Marvin Harrison did catch a few balls. Good for him. Kyler Murray. So they're going to have a good offense. They'll still have a lousy defense. They're probably an over team unless they play. I know the Lions play at Arizona. It might be next week. So that should be another over game in the Lions bet. Pitt and Denver. It's all Pitt's defense. They're all excited. Fields they finally scored a touchdown, first time this year to win 13-6. I did play this under. It was 36.5, under 42.5. I played it, I believe, with the JETSs. That was like a late bet. Like, okay, who am I going to play today? And I added that. Yeah, it was ridiculous. I had Denver winning 17-13. So I had the 13 on Pitt, but Bo Nix didn't do anything. And the defense just blitzed the hell out of them. And that's why you take Pittsburgh over Baltimore. And but you got to be careful, Pittsburgh against Joe Burrow. So 13-6, Pitt wins, low score. Fields still terrible. Denver, I don't know if you can even acknowledge that they have a defense yet. And Bo Nix will come along. He needs at least 4 or 5 games. But he's not that bad. KC, Cincinnati, I told you that Cincinnati would play much better. I did not bet the game. I like Cincinnati, but it was hard to bet them after losing to New England. But I think they were looking ahead at Kansas City. And they figured, New England sucks. Belichick's gone. Brady's gone. That's an easy win. I believe that's what they thought, and it was week 1. They played real yesterday. Whatchamacallit? got to be Darius. She always texts when I'm in class. No, kind of. Let's see if I got a gold price. Fuck, I don't have a gold price. So just a second, Todd. So they played well. They should have won the game. Terrible pass interference penalty. It was pass interference, but you can't make the call. It's like in the NBA. You've got to let the players decide it. And that was a terrible call at the time. It was 4th and 17. You bailed them out. Terrible play. If it's interference or not, it doesn't matter. You can't make the call. You can't decide the game by the ref. So Cincinnati got screwed a little bit there. 26-25. I had 31-13 KC. KC -6. And again, Burrow looked great. Chase had the meeting, and he got everybody together and said, hey, we got to play. And they looked like it. And the one guy, the defensive end, had like 2-3 sacks on Mahomes, which you never see. Hutchinson, I think. And I just thought it was a very, very strong. Now Cincinnati's lost 2 in a row. Now, give us the Bears or somebody easy, and then you'll see them blow out. But I would bet Cincy now they're 0-2, and look out. Again, that's what another variable that you look for. Okay, they played like shit, and Aaron Rodgers played like shit. They came back strong. Now you got Burrow off of 2 losses in a row. They're not going to go to 0-3. They just played the best team, Kansas City, and should have won the game. They at least showed up. So I just, let's see who they're playing next week. But I would not go against Cincinnati next week. Houston and the Bears. I had Houston -3 winning 24-10. They won 19-13. The line was 6. I played Houston. Now, normally I would have played the under in this game because of Caleb, right? You threw 150 yards or something. But I know I knew that Stroud would win the game, and I knew there was no way Caleb was winning. So this was bet against Caleb, even though the over-under of 46 was an easy under play. But I played Houston even. And so what do I care? So the only trouble games were Baltimore, what the fuck, and the Lions not going over with Tampa. Tampa scoring 20. They got 16 points on Tampa. So now we've got to relook at this whole Lions. They figured out Goff, just blitz him. He's showing his true colors. That's why the Rams got rid of him. He's a choke. Near the end of the game, 4th and 8, he throws a 3-yard pass, and they're short of the first down. Why aren't you throwing a 10-yard pass? And this is where that Williams guy, the fast guy, has problems in the red zone. He can't run. It's not a running thing. You'd only have 20, 30 yards and the end zone ends. So this is the problem with the receiver like that. That's why you need the tight ends and the backs to hit, but that's why you need a running game to run it into the end zone. Williams is totally useless inside the 20-yard line because there's nowhere to go. He's good at his own 20, but not there. Hey, Todd. Disappointing weekend. Well, yeah, Chargers, Seahawks are good bets. Giants, well, we know the Giants suck. I mean, you can't bet on Daniel Jones, seriously. Sad about Tua. It's a typical for Tua. My option, you should retire. San Diego Pitt under next week. Yeah, if they're playing, definitely. But I think the line's like 36. We'll have to look at the line. I haven't written it down that. Yeah, that'd be a great under. I mean, especially if it's Fields. Now, if you get Russell Wilson, not that he's going to light it up, but yeah, that's a great under. But yeah, you got to look at the quarterback. You can't play the Giants, even though they're playing Washington. Well, you had them in a teaser. They were good. You had 7.5 with them. The play should have been under. So watch your quarterbacks. You bet against, obviously, San Diego. Just bet against Carolina. That guy can't throw. They have no offense. They have no need. They're going to get buried by any good defensive team. Who to the Carolina? They're going to New Orleans already buried them. Tampa is going to bury them. Atlanta, if they get Penix in there, could bury them. Again, is it Bo Nix in week 2 or is it Bo Nix against Pittsburgh that the problem was, right? So he's played Pittsburgh, and then week 1 he played he played well at Seattle. Seattle doesn't have a good defense. How good or bad is New England? They go to overtime with Seattle. Now, Seattle doesn't have a great defense. New England, we'll see them. They get the JETSs, and there's no way they're winning that game. Not when Rodgers is starting to cook now. Buffalo will kill them, and they'll beat Miami because Miami's so bad. If they got to go with Skylar Thompson, but I thought I always said I didn't like Tua because he never showed up in the big games. So he shows up against Buffalo. Nope, doesn't show up. Gets hurt. What was he doing running head first into the guy? He's got the first down. You're at the 5-yard line. Just slide. I don't understand these quarterbacks not sliding. Was it a hero thing? Is it social media? I can't understand it. Richardson bangs his shoulder last year, not sliding. And here Mahomes and Burrow slide all the time. Herbert slides. Aaron Rodgers, if he runs, would slide. How are you not smart enough to do that? Well, we can look at next week's. Come on, give me a gold prize. This is crazy. All right, so tonight, Phillies 5.5, 45.5. Cousins against Hurts. I mean, I think the Chicago Barkley is the difference maker now because they can score in the red zone. You need a Chicago Barkley, so the Giants get rid of him because it cost them too much, and Philly wants to win. Hey, Gregor John. So the Jets are 6.5, 37.5 to New England next week. I mean, we'll see how they are. Indy's 1.5, 44.5 to the Bears. Can Caleb get to 150 yards? Cleveland gets the Giants. 38.5 there, 6.5 Cleveland. Tennessee 2.5, 37 to Green Bay. So the NFC Central gets the cake division in the AFC South: Tennessee, Indy, Jacksonville, and Houston. Tennessee 2.5, 37. See, that's the thing with Willis. We don't know. Phillies, this might be a bet right now. Phillies minus 2.5, 48.5 to New Orleans. Yeah, I think we need to bet New Orleans like today before that line turns. How can they? Who makes it? I hate to look because I want to make my own lines. Yeah, Pitt's 36. Pitt's 2.5 over San Diego, 36. San Diego is staying in the East Coast because they just played Carolina and now they get Pittsburgh. So they didn't travel back to San Diego. 36. Interesting. Houston, 2.5, 46.5 to Mini. I don't know about that. Now what Mini just did to San Francisco as a home dog. Tampa, 6.5, 39 over Denver. A lot of these over-unders in the 30s. Oakland, 7. Carolina, 37.5. Wow. Really? We'll have to bet the Raiders. Maybe Stabler will come back. Seattle 5.5, 41.5 to Miami. Don't understand that line. If you got Skylar Thompson playing, you got to. This is ridiculous. Detroit goes to Arizona is a favorite and over under again 51. I'm not buying Detroit as a favorite in this game. Arizona just did beat the Rams by 50 points. Good luck figuring this spread out. The Rams and the Niners. The Niners 7.5, 44.5. The Rams off of this embarrassment, but the Niners are off their embarrassment. Baltimore, Dallas. Oh, they made Baltimore a 1-point favorite. I'd have thought Dallas would have been favored in 47.5. Lamar and Prescott, two of the terrible quarterbacks. KC, Atlanta, KC 4.5, 46.5. Wow. Buffalo 6.46 to Jacksonville. Cincinnati 7.5, 48 to Washington. We've got the right game. Here we unload Cincinnati free pick. I'll do it right now. You got to be kidding me. They're 0-2, and they get Washington's defense and Joe Burrow, who looked like a real quarterback yesterday against Daniels. Good fucking luck. Yeah, Cincinnati free play minus 1.5. Oh, okay, Miami, Buffalo. That's it. So that's Sunday. That's Monday night's game. No, is there 2 games Monday night? Yeah. So on Monday night, you got Buffalo, Jacksonville, and Cincinnati. Why? I don't know why they have 2 Monday night games. Seems stupid. Well, that's what you got there. So Cincinnati's it's a prayer answered. We got exactly what we wanted. But I hate looking at my odds before I do my own odds because I don't want to get influenced. No, don't call them upsets. You said Oakland sucks. No, I don't think you say that anymore. No. There was the only real strange play I thought was Minnesota beating the Niners. And Oakland beating Baltimore. I don't know if it was an upset. Oakland looked pretty fucking good yesterday. Arizona beating the Rams. They were favored. Pitt, they were favored. KC and Houston. So there was only 2 upsets. Don't know what you're talking about, Greg and John. All right, so that's the pros. So we're looking at Cincinnati after an 0-2. Now you start, who's 0-2? Are they good? I believe the Rams are 0-2, but they get the Niners, who played like shit. Look for the Niners to play better. But they need to get McCaffrey back, and he's out for 4 weeks. So you can see the difference. Purdy looks terrible. He threw like 3 picks to Minnesota. Now we see Minnesota with Darnold. They're not bad. They beat the Niners. So you start looking at that going, I'm not convinced with New England. Okay, since you took them lightly, they're up for KC. And then Seattle coming West Coast to East Coast. They're not a strong defense anyway. San Diego, we're learning. Oakland, we're learning. Arizona, well, it's the same big offense. Denver, we're seeing Knicks, but nobody's going to score a lot on Pitt. Cincinnati, KC, well, there you go. Now we got a good Cincinnati team. All right, let's go through my college. So I will grade them. I have graded my college. I haven't updated my sheet yet. So just looking at my picks, I had Michigan minus 16 to Arkansas State after getting their ass kicked by Texas. And if this is the best they can do, 28-18. So they give up 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter, and they give up a touchdown with 22 seconds left to fuck us because it's 28-10. We're laying 16. They're up 18. So W. Unbelievable. So Michigan, I think they'll get their ass kicked against USC. LSU, even. I don't play it, but I like it. They do win 36-33. South Carolina looked really good. LSU doesn't have a defense. But South Carolina, I thought, did not have that great of an offense. Looked pretty good there. Big play. I had Texas Tech, North Texas over 69. I cut it to 63. I get 62 by Texas Tech, 21 by North Texas, 87. That's easy winner. I saw that at half. It was 52-7. I had 59. I needed 63. I needed one touchdown in the second half. Illinois, I play Illinois under. It was, I think, 40 something. I think it was 49 or 47. Anyway, they win 30-9. Illinois looks good, strong defense. They don't let Central score late, right? So that was a good play. I did like Illinois, but when I saw the 49, I said, no, we're going under in the game. And Illinois is an under team again. Alabama, Wisconsin, I played this game under. This was 50, under 56. Because it was a high total, I played it under. I had Alabama winning 31-17, 48. They won 42-10, 52. I was pretty close and stayed under. So that was a good game. Van Dyke gets hurt. I don't know. He hurts his knee, I guess, and I don't know how serious it is. But Alabama looks pretty good, and I think they got my Georgia team this week. So again, was Georgia looking ahead like Cincinnati wasn't? So there's so many different angles you got to be aware of. Missouri and BC, I stay away from this because of the 14. I said if I got it under 7, BC's up, and Missouri comes back in the second half and wins 27-21. So they were balanced. BC showed me something. They're going to be decent. Missouri's a very good team. And they came back to win. Brady Cook had a good game, the quarterback. Coastal Carolina, I got winning 42-3, and they win 28-20 to Temple. How the hell does Temple score 20 points? They're a Z team. They averaged 250 yards was their turnovers. But then I see Coastal Carolina. The quarterback is more of a running quarterback or an option than he is a thrower, which I didn't know. Because I'm wondering what happened. Why didn't they only scored 28 points? And he only threw for like 150 yards. It's fucking Temple. And I'm shocked Temple got 20 points. So now I'm curious. Coastal Carolina, I will stay away from. And Temple, I still think is a Z team. They just got the right matchup of the offense. Washington, don't play it. Washington State wins 24-19. I had it 17-14. I knew it would be close, low scoring as it was, but this was a watch, and Washington State beat them. So, again, Washington's got to recover from losing the coach and losing Penix and all that. Tulane, Oklahoma. I had Oklahoma winning 20-17. They won 34-19 of 53. I got under 54. That's another winner going under because Oklahoma's showing strong defense. I was shocked against Tulane. They put up 34. I'm not sure what happened, if there was interceptions or whatever, but another winner under. One of my classmates, one of my students said, should I play the money line in the A&M Florida game? I go, well, they're laying 3. Just tease it to 3. Take the +3 and go find, play them with somebody else. Why take the money line? And here A&M wins 33-20, which is my point about money lines. Did you need the money line? You're laying 3. So you think they're only going to win by 1 or 2? Seriously? You can pinpoint the scores that quickly? So if you like a team, just bet the team. Stop the money lines. I don't like the money lines. The odds are not very good. Notre Dame off of the loss to my Northern Illinois, and off they go, 66-7. Again, I had to watch this game because Purdue didn't play anybody yet. They had a high school game and an off week, so we don't know what we're getting. But we saw Notre Dame play their best game, 66-7. So good for them. Minnesota, I have under 50. And they win 27-0. I had Nevada winning 20-16 because I don't like Minnesota's quarterback, but they're another under team, another strong defense. So you got Minnesota, Illinois, Nebraska, and Indiana on very strong defenses. not including Ohio State. I think at the end, Rutgers, Michigan State, Oregon, I'm not sure. I think they'll have a good defense. Washington, I don't know. They look like they're an under because they're not scoring. And then UCLA looks like shit. Oregon, I don't play it. I see Oregon 31-20 is my score. They win 49-14. The over-under was only 49.5. But Oregon State beat San Diego State 21-0. I said, well, maybe they have a good defense. Not against Oregon. Some of the play calling by Oregon's unbelievable. I was watching that game, and they just have formations that gets all of a sudden Gabriel's running like O.J. Simpson. Big win. This is going to be an interesting game when they play Ohio State. West Virginia, Pitt. I got Pitt winning 36-35. They win 38-34. Strong. Neither team's got a good defense. They both have good offenses, and this one was a good play, but I didn't play it. Miami wins 62-0. Ball State was an over team, as I said, but Miami, look out. They are playing really strong ball. They got a big game this week coming up. I don't remember who it is. 62-0 is the score. Well, actually, I can see it here. Miami. Let's see. So many games. I'm up to 2 sheets now. Sorry, I can't find them. Maybe they don't play this week. Oh, no, here, South Florida. Miami's 14. No, that's my line. Miami plays South Florida. This should be an explosive game. South Florida can score, but I don't know how good Miami's defense is. Again, they played Florida. No, they played, Florida the first week, so that doesn't help. So we really don't know how good their defense is. It'll be tested by South Florida, that's for sure. Hey, Todd. What happened to Iowa's defense playing Minnesota next week? Revenge game. I don't know. That's what's surprising. They played good against Iowa State, lost at the last second. Surprise Troy. But again, it's the mindset. Oh, we're playing Troy. They suck. It's like Cincinnati, New England. Oh, it's New England. Belichick's gone. They'll suck. They got, whatchamacallit, a quarterback, and that's Brissett. And that's really the problem is Iowa getting sky high for Iowa State and then coming in. But I don't know about the defense. I don't know. Is it a revenge game? I don't know. If you got the schedule, maybe it is. I don't think I don't think it matters if it's a revenge game. Certain teams you can play revenge games in, and certain teams you can't. Now, Georgia, Alabama, you can play revenge game. Maybe. I don't know. Watching Georgia, I'm sick to my stomach. But that's what you want to, play a revenge game in is those type of games. Yeah, but it's not a revenge game. It's just a regular game. If Michigan were to lose to Michigan State, it's Ohio State, Michigan's revenge, triple revenge. Michigan beat them 3 years in a row. I keep betting Ohio State in revenge. It doesn't. I win because of the teaser, but it doesn't help you. I don't know where you're going with that, but it's not. It doesn't mean anything. It's just another game. It's a Big Ten game, so they're both going to play well. They both have good defenses. Let's see. So Miami wins 6-0. It's South Florida next week. App State beats East Carolina 21-19. App State might not be as good as they've been. We'll see. I'm a little surprised, but they were a 1.5 point favorite. I thought was kind of low. My line was App State -10, and they would have covered in a teaser. My lock, Iowa -22, so I'm down to 16. They win by 17. Troy, 38-21. I'm shocked Troy got 21 points. They averaged 265 a game. Iowa with their big running back did win. So they got 38 points. And I knew it wasn't going to be an under game. But I thought Iowa was going to score 45-0. My score is actually Iowa 35-0. So the lock wins. We win by a point. It doesn't matter by how much, but it was a surprise. I thought it'd be a shutout. Utah State Rising didn't play. The other kid came in fine. Utah State's a Z team, and Utah wins 38-21, laying 18. You would have won 12. I would have lost the under because without Rising, but the backup's not bad apparently, or Utah State really blows. So we'll hope for Rising. Utah plays Oklahoma State this week. They need Rising. They ain't going to beat them with their freshmen. UTEP Liberty, I got -17, wins by 18, 28-10. I'm shocked they didn't score more. They average 500 a game, and they only got 28 on UTEP. UTEP's not a good team. UTEP only gets 295 a game, and that showed with the 10. So again, we're sneaking in games that should be, I got this game 47-3. What the fuck? Where's Liberty? I don't know what's going on here. Ole Miss against Wake Forest. I was expecting a much higher. I was expecting 42-21. I get 40-6. Where was Wake Forest? I play over 64 down to 58, and I lose that one. I played it because Wake Forest averages 500 yards a game. Now, how good's Mississippi's defense? They play two high school teams, and now they get Wake, who I thought would have scored more than 6 on them. So now we don't know who Mississippi is. Here I'm betting the overs, but they've not let up a lot of points. They got a 3 defense, so maybe they have a strong defense. I don't know. I got to start watching some Ole Miss games. South Florida, Southern Miss, another game. I have South Florida -5.5. They win 49-24. South Florida is a very strong team. They played Alabama pretty close until the end. Alabama got 2 late touchdowns. But South Florida is an explosive team. So this is going to be interesting against Miami. If Miami shuts out South Florida, they'll have a great defense. But I don't see that happening. So again, going against Southern Miss, another Z team. Now it works here, but when I went against Temple with Coastal Carolina, it didn't work. So that's the strategy. Find the Z teams. If you got a good offense, which I thought Coastal Carolina is, they should have blown them out. They didn't, but it worked with South Florida, and it worked with Western Kentucky. Texas wins 56-7 with Arch Manning, as I don't know how serious Uhr's injury is. Arch Manning did well, which we're not surprised. UTSA, another one of these WZ type of teams. Vandy, Georgia State. I have this game, Vandy 37-10. My line's 17. The line comes out 9. I give it as a free game, thinking Pavia is going to score, and they lose 36-32. And so I'm overplaying Vandy as a good offensive team, but not a good defensive team. And I thought Georgia State I has as a W team, giving up 28. And again, that's a mistake. I thought because they did give up 32 points. So the mistake here was Vanderbilt's defense is not good. They're an over team, which now we can see. So over 44 would have been a joke. But look at the line, 44. So again, I'll stay away from Vandy unless it's an over type of game. Jacksonville, Eastern Michigan. I nailed that game. As soon as Jacksonville State went favorite, I liked Eastern Michigan and 7.5. They win 37-34. Jacksonville State cannot be a road favorite. They are a Z team. And Eastern's a pretty good MAC team. They're not great, but they're good. And at home, they're not going to lose to Jacksonville State and the Rich Rodriguez's. Another Z team, Tennessee State, and another, I didn't play, San Jose State, minus 18 wins 31-10. An easy cover. So again, they're going against the Z team. You got a winner. That's why we're finding the Z team. But I didn't think San Jose State had enough offense. Hawaii, Sam Houston. I kind of like Hawaii. I don't play it. I got Hawaii winning. Sam Houston wins 31-13. So I don't know what's wrong with Hawaii's offense besides they don't have a running attack. And Sam Houston's playing pretty well. Another game I was this close from locking. I wanted to lock it Saturday, and I put it in 3 teasers. And Western Kentucky minus only 7. The Middle Tennessee is Z team, and I know they have a good offense, and they win 49-21. And I'm like so pissed going, this was one of those, just lay one, just win the game, and they blow them out. So we know Western Kentucky. See, this is where Stoic comes in, right? We know Western Kentucky is an explosive offense. They play Alabama. Well, oh, geez, I'm shocked Alabama shut them out. Of course. But then the next week, it's a high school game. They put out 35-40. And now they go to Middle Tennessee, a Z team. And that's my favorite. Middle Tennessee, a Z. It's a good offense in Western Kentucky, a good quarterback. They pass the ball, no rush, no worry, 49-21. So that was, played well, but just didn't have a lock designation next to it. Colorado State. I love Colorado -1. I don't play it because I don't know Colorado State. They win 28-9. Prime Junior is okay. Colorado State's just terrible team, a lot of penalties, and their quarterback sucks. So they're a Z team. Georgia, Kentucky, whoa, I don't know. How fixed was this game, right? 28-point favorites. I had them 35-point favorites. Again, against South Carolina, they score 7 points. They lose 20-7 or 20-6 to South Carolina. They were looking ahead to Georgia. So Georgia wins 13-12. What the fuck? How could they only score 13 points? Just what can you say? And of course, yeah, I should have locked the under in the game because I normally lock Georgia under. And I got to pay the penalty for that because that's knowing Kentucky doesn't score much. I didn't know Kentucky's defense. So now, again, and the over-under was 44. So under 50, yeah. Well, it's easy after I can mate off it and say, yeah, see? But we don't do that. All right, the other lock. So the lock was Iowa, Georgia. Iowa wins, Georgia loses, and UCF TCU over. Over-under was 61. I go over 55. 2 explosive teams. I got the game 52-49 TCU, and UCF wins 35-34. We get a 69. We needed 55. That's why it was a lock, because you had 2 explosive teams who don't really play a lot of defense. And that's what I'm looking for in my overs, and I got a 61. I would have locked the North Texas Tech game, but it was 69. So I was okay. This one at 61 was a joke. All I needed was over 55. Indiana, UCLA. I actually liked the under in the game, but Indiana looked awesome. I didn't play it because I wanted to see how good Indiana and UCLA were. It's a good game to watch. UCLA's terrible. Indiana looks like a fucking playoff team. 42-13. Their quarterback looked good. Their defense looked good. Their receivers look good. The play calling, dynamite play calling. Indiana is a very, very live dog this year. Tennessee, 71-0. What can you say? The kid's a volleyball player as their quarterback, but they got a pretty rough game this week. They go to Oklahoma. They ain't scoring 71 points there. Oklahoma will have a defense. My line right now is Oklahoma -7. I haven't looked at the line yet. I want to throw in my score, and I want to grade the team. So I've got the teams graded. I just got to throw it on my sheet, add the scores, then I'll add the line. So I'll have a busy afternoon, and then I'll start doing. I got to update. Well, the pro stats I update tomorrow because of the Monday night game. So Tennessee again against Kent State. This would have been a lock if it was in the 30s. I can't lock a 49, 50-point favorite, but I did tell you cut the 49 to 43 versus going over 62 to 56 because Kent State's not going to help you, and they didn't. 71 to nothing, so it had to be Tennessee scoring that much. Love the coach, offensive minded, and really the only team that can bother him is Georgia if Georgia plays. See, I guarantee you, if Georgia played Tennessee, it'd have been a whole different effort from Georgia than that. And I think they got Alabama, but I don't see it. It's probably a bye. They probably play them next week because I don't see Georgia or Alabama on the schedule, but I thought it was the next game. I just didn't check the date. Okay. Rice and Houston. Houston, I have the game under. It was a late ad, and I warned the people Saturday I could add it. So the people that bought my picks, I played it at about 2:00 through maybe even be at noon or 1. Love the under here. Houston, a very strong under team. Wins 33-7 against Rice, over under 44, under 50. So an easy cover. Their defense, again, you gave up 16 to Oklahoma and you gave up 7 to Rice, and they're starting to play well. Willie Fritz. If I was a pro, if I'm Carolina, I go hire Willie Fritz. I don't stay with whoever the idiot I have. And then I just cut Bryce Young and go get Cam Rising or something. Let's see. Fresno State. I love Fresno State. I don't play them. They're minus 19 down to 13. They win 48-0. I gave you that as the late play. Houston under Fresno State in class. If you needed a late game, I liked them, but I didn't. I played Houston, but I didn't play them with Fresno State. I played them with somebody else. And then Cal 31-10. Cal under 47.5. I like Cal's a pretty good low-scoring team, as is San Diego State. So 31-10. So Cal looks pretty good. San Diego State, not so much. So that's last week. I'll quickly go through this week. Now, again, I don't have the lines, and I'm not going to look at the lines. I don't want to. Well, I do have my lines in. We got Southern Alabama, App State. Southern Alabama has Major Applewhite as the coach. They're explosive as shit. App State, we got to check them out. We'll see what happens. This should be a high-scoring game, but if the over-under 70, we can't play it. So you got to get a 50 over-under. I find those are the easiest. I can go under, 60 usually is a winner, and I can go over like 49. It's probably the best. Upper 40s to 60 is the best to go over-under. You start playing with the 70s and the 68s, it's hard, and then the 36s, all of a sudden, like Iowa, goes over. Syracuse against Stanford. God, I wrote terrible. I don't know. Syracuse, okay. Stanford, Big game, Nebraska, Illinois. This is a very good game. Nebraska's defense, but they got Raiola. Illinois, good quarterback. Very good game here. Washington State, San Jose State should be an interesting game. Florida goes to Old Mississippi State. I think Florida's favored in this game. How can they be favored over anybody? Indiana gets Charlotte. It should be all Indiana. Tulane goes to Lou Lafayette. We'll see. This Lou Lafayette's not a bad team. Tulane, I don't know. Again, they got a new coach, a new quarterback, so give them time. North Carolina gets James Madison, and James Madison's no slouch. Clemson, NC State, interesting game. Clemson's been playing better since they played Georgia. See, that's what I was expecting. They beat Clemson 34-3. You score that on Clemson, you can't score it on Kentucky? Really? So Clemson, NC State, interesting game. Kansas, West Virginia, really good game. We know West Virginia, good offense, no defense. Kansas, no offense. They have not been scoring like they did because Daniel sucks. It's funny how he got hurt, and then the Bean comes in, and Bean lights him up. And maybe the offensive coordinator goes to Penn State, so Kansas, but they're more of an under team now. Ohio State gets Marshall. Marshall's not that bad, but we'll see. Cincinnati and Houston. I got to check Cincinnati out. Houston, we know, getting better, strong defense. Army against Rice. Go Army, beat Navy. This is an interesting game. Kentucky against Ohio. How does Kentucky play after the loss to Georgia? They'll probably give up 30 points to Ohio, right? So all we know is they got a good defense. We don't know. Ohio is also was an under team. I have to see. See, last year they're an under team. What are they this year? And you can't just assume, oh, I'll bet it under. You got to see what Ohio is this year. Central against Ball State. Who knows? Iowa State against somebody. Arkansas State. I wrote it on the couch, so my writing's not too good. Iowa State looked good at beating Iowa at the end there. Rocco Brecht's a good quarterback. Utah State against Temple. Virginia, Coastal Carolina. And then, now I'm like, oh, fuck Coastal Carolina. Jacksonville State against Southern Miss. 2 Z teams are fighting it out. Arizona State, Texas Tech. Should be a high-scoring game. Buffalo, Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois, our team. We'll see what the line is. Notre Dame gets Miami of Ohio, who's not that bad. I don't think Notre Dame's going to score 80 points this week. Miami of Ohio, pretty good defense. USC, Michigan. Now this, I seen the line. USC's 5.5 over Michigan. Over under 46.5. Michigan, what? No quarterback, no offense. I'm not sure they have a defense yet. You give up 18 points to fucking Arkansas State. USC looks pretty good. Their defense looks better. We're not sure yet. Their offense is always good, and they did beat LSU. So we'll read this game up. Memphis Navy. Memphis is pretty good. They just blew out Florida State, so we know they can throw. Penn State gets Kent State. Kent State's a Z team. Penn State with the Kansas offensive coordinators playing good, and they're at home. LSU against UCLA. Very interesting. Why is UCLA playing SEC teams? Don't they have enough in the Big Ten? So they got LSU, who just beat South Carolina, who is a better team than we thought. That's why we watched. We had no idea. Now we see, LSU doesn't have a defense. What else is new? South Carolina can score. Their defense against Kentucky is confusing. They beat them 21-6, and then LSU gets 37 points on them. I don't know what I'm looking at there. But a good game. LSU should take care. Well, they should score on UCLA, and UCLA's got a terrible quarterback. Rutgers v. Tech. Interesting game. Rutgers should play with them. Louisville gets my Georgia Tech team. This is interesting. How good is Louisville? We know how good Georgia Tech is. Although now it's starting to look worse because now Florida State's 0-3, and you're like, oh, well, how much does that win count? Because it is ugly boogly. Auburn against Arkansas, very, very good game. Duke, Middle Tennessee. Oak State against Utah. This is the game I'm warning you. We need Cam Rising to play Utah. Oak State with Ollie Gordon. Look out. Although Utah can handle them, they got a great defense. Missouri gets Vanderbilt. I get revenge on Vanderbilt with Missouri if I get the right line. TCU, SMU. I don't know what's going on with SMU. They're not playing well. They got killed. Well, they lost to BYU. They didn't get killed. They lost like 18-16 or something like that. TCU lost to UCF in a 100-point game. We'll see what they do with SMU. This should have been an over game, but I don't know. No, SMU's not scoring like they used to. Same coach. I don't know what's going on with the quarterback. They pulled the quarterback last game. I don't know. Colorado State gets UTEP. The Z team's fighting it out. Liberty and East Carolina, I have no idea. Tulsa against L Tech. Washington gets Northwestern. How good is Washington? They lost to Washington State. I don't know. Are they going to be Joe Burrow and, oh, we lost, now get mad or what? Northwestern's not bad. North Texas against Wyoming. The explosive North Texas against the Wyoming. Wyoming doesn't score, so we'll see. Florida Atlantic gets UConn. Florida Atlantic had a big win over Florida International last week. Sam Houston against New Mexico State. Sam Houston beat Hawaii. They're playing much better this year. Western Kentucky and Toledo. Oh, that's going to be points. There's going to be a lot of points. Miami, South Florida. This should be an over game. I don't know. Does Miami really have this strong defense? Because South Florida is going to bring it. Cal gets Florida State and Uglia Buglia. Cal is if they're a dog, a very live dog here. I don't know if there's anybody Florida State can beat except for a high school team or a Z team. A&M gets Bowling Green. A&M looked better beating Florida. I'm going to call them a high school team. We talked about Oklahoma, Tennessee. There's no way Tennessee gets 70 on Oklahoma. But we'll see. This very interesting matchup. As Todd told, Minnesota gets Iowa at Minnesota. Should be a good game. I don't know about a revenge factor in it more than just we'll see how good they are. I know Iowa's got the good running back. Cade McNamara is okay. Minnesota's quarterback sucks. Both have strong defenses. So I don't see Minnesota getting a touchdown late to cut it down. South Carolina against Akron. South Carolina's got a freshman, but he's like Lamar. He's a strong running quarterback, put it that way. Probably can't pass. Akron's terrible. They're a Z team. We saw Ohio State beat them by 100. Old Miss gets Georgia Southern. I thought Old Miss got somebody else. Maybe not. They get Georgia Southern. Another 70-point win. I don't know what the Georgia Southern's a pretty good team, but you got to keep them in conference, not against Old Miss. BC gets Michigan State. This is a very interesting game. Baylor gets Prime and the Prime Boys at Colorado. Baylor looked pretty bad against Utah, except for the guy that pushed Cam Rising into the cooler. Again, you're dealing with Colorado, a team with no defense, against Baylor, pretty good offense. I'm not sure that they had him 23-0 when Cam Rising went out. So had they played the full game, he probably wins 45-0. But Texas gets Lou Monroe with Manning, I guess. We'll see. Fresno State gets New Mexico and Mikey Keene. Oregon State hosts Purdue in a interesting game. We don't know anything about Purdue. Okay, we saw them lose by 100 to Notre Dame. Now they got to go to Oregon State. We'll see a better effort. When you lose like that, you're going to give a better effort. These teams are probably even. Oregon State got their ass kicked by Oregon. And Kansas State, BYU's the closer. Kansas State's an outstanding team. BYU's got a good defense. So that's next week's slate. Interesting, USC, Michigan. Michigan's terrible. I think they're going to lose this game. They lost to Texas. Should have lost to Fresno. We're going to lose this game. They get to play Michigan State, who's looking pretty good. They get Oregon. Forget about it. They get Ohio State. That's 5 losses. And then they get Washington, which we got to find out more about Washington. And I don't know what other Big Ten teams they play. They'll be in trouble against Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin. Where was their defense against Alabama? They didn't blitz, so hard to say there. Anyway, so that's next week's college and last week's college. So now I go in and I find the Z teams, which I'll tell you about. And the Z teams, the reason we do it is because really we're looking for weak teams with weak defenses to do what we did with Western Kentucky and South Florida. And had we known Colorado State was that weak, you couldn't tell because Texas killed them. So you go, well, they play Texas, and here's Colorado. But they did move on Colorado, but their quarterback's really bad. So I would have taken that would have been a perfect because Colorado with a strong offense against Colorado State with a weak offense and a weak defense. And they still only scored 28, 35 points, Colorado. So you're looking, now we can digest. Okay, we've got 3 weeks in. All right, everybody played a high school team. And then you got your MAC teams and some of your Conference USA who played Alabama. Okay, they got killed there. So you try to, but we're getting more data and now we got 3 weeks. We can see Tennessee, we can see Illinois, Indiana, Nebraska. So that's what I mean when you learn where you didn't know how good. I knew Indiana, I warned you, was going to be good because of the James Madison coach, but we didn't know how good. And the same thing here with, these other Big Ten. Nebraska looks very good. Let's see if I get a gold line here. Here we go. 2580. It was when we started 2590. And then the derivative hit at 10 o'clock, driving it down to 2577. So it only went down $12 on the derivative, and now it's back up to 25. Looks like 2580. Silver, I saw it at 31 earlier, 3070. I watched this video about China with silver, buying all this silver, but they're buying it direct from the mine, so it doesn't affect the COMEX price. You have high demand. This is the whole problem with these screwy derivatives. COMEX does not care if me and you, if everybody here bought 1,000 ounces of silver, the price wouldn't move. That's the problem. It's not free market. And they're trying to control the price. So China's trying to control the price. So all their buying's coming out of mines. So they go to the mine, say, I'll buy it from you at this price. Probably 35 an ounce, maybe 40 an ounce. And they go, okay. But since it doesn't hit COMEX doesn't record the price increase, which means the price of silver is much higher than the $30 crap that we're seeing on COMEX. This is my point. It's going to blow up because all these countries who want solar panels and electric cars and silver for military are all they're all buying it off of COMEX, not on COMEX, into the mines. And the mines have to be the dumbest people in the world to not charge more for the price. But we don't know what they could be charging $50 an ounce. It's not going to register because COMEX is not real. It's all option pricing. Well, let's make the price $30. And we're sitting there going, that's why I tell you it's worth 10 times more, at least, because there's plenty of demand for it. And there's no, and the supply is dwindling and it wears out. So all this solar panel stuff wears out. And then they need new silver, but there's not. You can't replenish the silver. And there's no silver mines because silver is too cheap. So if you're not pulling it with copper or gold, when you pull that out of the ground, then what happens? So it's very limited. So keep that in mind. It's not close to reality. That's why you buy as much as you can at $30. Now I'm going to show you a clip from Jenna today. And it's really, there's Daria right on cue. So Daria's at work, but I want to show you Jenna's video. Okay, this is her city now. Look at these fires going on. This is where she lives. Does this remind you of Canada or what? What the fuck? This is Ukraine right now. She sent it to me a couple hours ago. I'll replay it. So now you can say you've been to the Ukraine. But look at this shit. Look at these fires. I hope it's not a problem with her. She lives in an apartment. Hopefully it won't be a problem, but it's ridiculous. And I said to her, "Who do you think did it? The Russians or the Americans?" This reminds me of the Nazis. When the Nazis in World War II lost, they would burn the city down. And they did it in, there's a movie, Narvik, on YouTube about, I think it's the Netherlands. I'm always confused. Norway. I think it was Norway. They have a lot of mines for iron ore, which is used to make tanks and stuff. So the Germans wanted it, and they held them off, and the British held them off, and they ended up leaving. And then Germany came back to burn the city down. They just bombed the hell out of it. Like, if we can't have it, you can't have it either. And it kind of sounds like that. We want their, I don't know where they're coming up with trillions of dollars in minerals. But if they burn everything to the ground, then, well, then you can't have the minerals either. I don't know. It's insanity. What the fuck are they doing? This sounds like the U.S. is behind it. Stuff that they do. All this burning of the fires in Canada and in California and in Europe, Greece. It's too coincidental that it's just lightning, and so I don't buy it. It hasn't been that hot there. So anyway, just wanted to point that out. So tonight we got Atlanta, Philly. Philly 5.5, 46, 47. We'll have to see Kirk Cousins week 2. Philly, I think, with Saquon Barkley is the team. This is a good chance to see Philly's defense. Atlanta, we have no idea because they played Fields, who's terrible. Again, because these guys can run, they think they're good quarterbacks. I mean, it just blows my mind. Richardson should not be the quarterback at Indy, and Fields, what's he doing? Darnell looked okay, looked a little bit better. If we go down the list, Tua, well, he can't run, he's out. Carl Prescott's more of a runner. He threw 2 picks. Baker and Goff, okay, they're at least quarterbacks. Richardson's terrible, and Willis, he ran a lot. You're not winning with him. Rodgers, yes. Levis, you're not winning with him, although they got him down there. They were throwing in the end zone at the end, down 24-17. But leave it to my JETSs. They need work on their defense. It's not as good as I thought, at least not yet. Purdy and Darnell. Darnell ran a little, but he looked good, although they lost Jefferson, and then Purdy looked terrible. Smith and Brissett. Geno Smith's okay. Brissett, he runs a little bit. Jones is terrible. Daniels, I think, will be okay. Herbert's good. Bryce Young's terrible. Again, Watson's terrible, and Lawrence is there. They both want to run now. Minshew looked very good throwing the ball. Lamar, not so good. Stafford, I don't know what happened in that game. Murray, okay. Fields, terrible. Knicks needs some time. Burrow and Mahomes are great. Caleb put up 13 on Houston. Jesus. Probably what, a pick 6 or something? So again, Caleb not, should be out there. maybe in 6, 7, 8 weeks he could maybe play. He ain't ready now because when they blitzed him, Houston blitzed him. He wasn't prepared for it. He didn't see it coming. That's the problem, right? And then tonight, Cousins and Hurts. Cousins, we know, sucks. Hurts, he's okay. Barkley will help. He'll run. And then I don't know if A.J. Brown's playing. It sounds like he's not. So that's your football. So we will see. I gave you a free game, but I don't remember what it was. I think it was Cincinnati against Washington, 7.5. I'm going to have to load that one up already. That's exactly what you want. An 0-2 team playing a team with no defense and a new quarterback who is going to be good, but not, they didn't light up the Giants. Cincinnati will play motivated. I don't think Washington can handle Burrow and Chase. So that's your free play. I'm working college. I got to put in the rankings. And again, you're looking for Z teams, no offense and no defense. And let's bet the shit out of them. So again, a little confusion where I thought Temple, I couldn't believe Coastal Carolina couldn't beat Temple. And then I played Western Kentucky pretty strong. South Florida, Western Kentucky should have been a lock. That frustrates me. And then going with Georgia instead of the Georgia under frustrates me. I misread Kentucky. So this is what happens early. As you get into it, a couple weeks, there's no more misreadings. Then once you have the team, that's why I'm always so much, not that I'm stronger. I can be strong early. I know the team's better. So right now I'm leaning on, let's lean on Georgia and, Alabama and Texas and these. And then you start, Western Kentucky, they're there, South Florida, there they are. Then you're learning Ole Miss and you're learning Oklahoma's not as strong. And then Tulane, okay. Arizona State's much better. And the problem is the Arizona coach left. They're not as strong. And then he goes to Washington. Well, they're not ready. They don't have Penix in that. So that's really what you have is these guys leaving. The new coaches and quarterbacks, you can't just walk into the situation. You've got to get your players and your system. And you can't just, like the Arizona guy, had him at Arizona. I'm surprised he left for Washington. It's a stupid move on his part, especially after going to the championship game with Penix. There's no way you can win there because they're going to expect you to get to the championship game again, and there's no way you can do it. Who's your quarterback? I'm surprised Fafita didn't come with him to Washington. He stayed at Arizona, and the receiver did. So they got a real stud receiver, Arizona. So anyway, so that's what we're looking at. Gold, we're expecting to be 2,600. Again, we just have to understand the disconnect in COMEX from reality. And then the question is breaking COMEX with all these wars and BRICS. BRICS is the key. BRICS needs to break COMEX because they want to price their gold at the real number. The U.S., why do they use COMEX? Is they want to keep the price down, but at this point, it's 2,600. I mean, what are you keeping it down from? The 20,000 that it should be? So all you're really doing is you're helping us. We are able to buy the gold and the silver much cheaper than it should be. So that's why I'm buy the silver at 30 an ounce is a joke. It should be 300-400 at least. See, people can't understand that. Well, you don't understand it's been derivative and they want to keep the price down. Okay, and there's not as much buying at silver because it's the gold standard. So everybody's buying gold to get out of the dollar, but nobody's buying silver yet, except for the Russians are buying a ton of silver, or the Chinese, as is Saudi Arabia and Saudi Arabia and India. I don't know what they're planning with these solar panels. They're not going to work. Maybe in the desert, they'll work better. I don't know if India is a sunny country or China. The deserts would probably work better. You get all this energy, but you're better off probably with a dam and creating energy than you are with solar panels. I mean, how much can you get from the sun? And on a cloudy day, you don't have it. Can you store it? I don't think so. And then the same thing with with the turbines. You get a day without wind and you're fucked. And what's wrong with heating with oil and coal and everything else? Um, this pollution is bullshit. So we're all going to die because there's no wind. No, that's better than dying because of what? Uh, Solar panels. Anyway, that's the show. I'll probably be back for economics. I've got a busy day. I got to update um, my. I've got my stats updated in college. I just got to put them on my sheet and then fill it in with the real spread, and then I can go to work on the games. All right, I will be back in the afternoon with economics, 3 or 4 o'clock. I came on a little earlier because I've been coming on later, and then I've eaten, I swim, it's a late day, and then I'm tired, and it's 4 o'clock, and I'm doing econ, so this way I can do it at 2:30, let's say. Anyway, have a good day. www.teaserking.com. If you want a class, there's class tonight on with a friend in LA. It's a Zoom class. You can join, $25. And then my Teaserking normal class here. I'll do a Friday night class, college and pro. We did one last week in college. So they're brand new. So I'm waiting for people to join, only for 25. And I go through all the games and all the picks. So here's my lock, here's my pick, here's my score. So I do that pretty thoroughly. No complaints first week, and we'll see about it this week. So anyway, have a good day. www.teaserking.com. All right, take care, everybody.